Hi, it's Papa Ray and Baby, and today we're gonna look at some soybeans. Now here we've got some soybean plants that we got out of the field. Yep. And Baby's opening some of them up. This is what the plant looks like. When it's in the field, the plant's kind of a hard stem. It's green, and then it's got all these pods along it, almost like pea pods. Now each of the pods holds, on this plant, they hold 3 soybeans each. And we'll show you what's inside each one of these in a minute.
There you go.
All right. So we showed you the plants, and we have some video that we're going to show you of the actual soybean plants out in the field. The first field that we're going to look at here is a clean field. That means if you look out across the field, you don't see weeds sticking up above the soybeans. Also, you'll notice that the soybeans are all about the same size, meaning that they're all getting good nutrients and water from the soil and from the sun. This is a very good clean field. Our second field is not quite so clean. If you look across the top of the soybeans, you can see weeds sticking up in different places above the soybeans. You can see them here, and here's another one, and here's another one, and then there's others, of course. So this is not quite as clean of a field. And here's our third soybean field. But if you look across it, you see more weeds than you see soybeans. And you see several different types of weeds in this soybean field. So this is a really bad soybean field. And the problem with weeds is that when they try to harvest the soybeans, the weeds get mixed up in the soybeans. And a farmer has to separate those out before he can take them and sell them. Now let's go back to the kitchen, where we're going to take a look at the roots of the soybean plant. Here we've got one of the soybean plants with a root attached to it. And I don't know if you can see it, but the root comes all the way down to here. And actually, when they're in the field, they're a little longer. This is as much of the root I could get up, but this is how the plant gets its water and the nutrients from the soil. And then, of course, the leaves have fallen off of this because it's dry and it's ready to harvest. But when there's leaves on it, it gets energy from the sun as well. But these ones here, they're all dry and ready to be harvested.
They're all dry?
They're all dry. Now, can you show people what you've been taking out of the pods? Okay, now these are the actual soybeans that Baby's taking out of the pods. You can see they're on our plate, and they're round, about a 1/4 inch across.
Yeah.
Go ahead and show them. Go ahead and show them you taking them out of the pod. Take them out of there. Okay, go ahead and take them out of there. Oh, that's all right. We'll get it later. The cat can play with it in the meantime.
A plan for later?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And these are what the soybeans look like. And this is what the empty shell looks like. Pod. And we're going to show you some video of the soybeans being harvested. Here you can see the combine being used to harvest the soybeans. It travels through the field, cutting out the last few rows that are left. And let's take a look at a diagram, and we'll show you what's going on inside the combine as it harvests the soybeans. Near the front, you see the header. That's as if you took your hand, spread your fingers, and run it across the ground. That's how the header moves through the soybeans.
The soybeans then meet the spinning reel, which pulls the soybeans into the cutter bar. The cutter bar then cuts the soybeans off at the ground level and then pulls them up into the combine. The soybeans and any weeds and other things that were gathered go through the threshing drum, which separates the soybean itself from the pod and the stem and any leaves and other things that are picked up. Then the soybean itself is dropped down into the grain tank or bin, while the stems and leaves and everything else are kicked out the back of the combine through the chaff spreader. And all of that chaff, all of those stems and leaves, go back into the ground for fertilizer for next year. Now, once the combine is full, it goes over to the side of the road where there'll be a grain trailer, and it will use the unloader pipe to empty the soybeans from the grain tank of the combine into the trailer.
Being taken out of the pod.
No, what?
That's a pod. Oh, and they're kind of fuzzy too. The pods are fuzzy. Are you ready to say goodbye? Okay. Bye, everybody.